Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about a couple of record labels. These record labels tended to sneak their way into my collection in the 1980s, the late 70s, 1980s, and they weren't such budget labels like Music for Pleasure or Hallmark or what's the other one, Pickwick. But they were more or less full-priced albums. Occasionally they were mid-priced, but more or less full-priced albums. But the two of them are called K-Tel, which I think everybody knows, which I'm not too sure when it started, but in the late 70s and early 80s it was massive. And then in the mid-80s there was one called Telstar. Now I think K-Tel came from Canada and Telstar came from the UK. Okay, now the two things that what these two labels have in common is that, one, they always seem to be TV advertised, and two, they crammed as many songs as they could get into an album, and it ultimately did destroy the actual sound quality of the album. On many occasions, some of the songs were actually edited for the album. So they had these customized edits which you would never find anywhere else, so that they could fit in as many as you could get. Now this was great for the K-Tel albums back in the late 70s and early 80s, because we were used to the Top of the Pops albums with cover versions. So in order to get the real original recording, albeit in not brilliant quality, these K-Tel albums did the job fantastically. But they also did like greatest hits compilations of certain artists, and I'm going to show some of those today. I'm going to show one album which is like and now that's what I call music type compilation of various artists, which is what they're more or less famous for. But the rest of the albums I'm going to show is the actual greatest hits. Now my feeling about this is, if one of my favourite artists got onto the K-Tel label, I always felt that the music was cheapened a little bit. Maybe it's the snobbery in me, I don't know, but I didn't like the idea of my artists being edited, crammed in, all in one album and sounding pretty crap, to be honest with you. So we'll start off with this here. This is an example of one of their hits albums, and now looking at the track list, I can't play this by the way because this is really scratched really badly. I think this was a 50p pickup from a second-hand shop years ago. But looking at the actual track list, there's some really good songs on this. Now you've Matchbox Rockabilly Rebel, you have Pretenders Brass and Pocket, you have The Tourists Only Want to Be With You, XTC, Making Plans for Nigel, The Skids, Working for the Yankee Dollar, Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight, and even Sparks, Try Out for the Human Race. So these albums were really good. Now, from 1983 onward, they were more or less redundant, because now that's what I call music started, and they did it properly. They made them into double albums, so they all sounded pretty good. On this there are 20 songs, some are edited I'm sure. Even if this was a mint condition copy, it wouldn't sound that great, to be honest with you. So I'm going to show you 5 K-Tel albums and of artists that I like, and I feel maybe we're cheapened a little bit by getting on the K-Tel. One is Gilbert O'Sullivan. Nobody ever talks about Gilbert O'Sullivan. Gilbert O'Sullivan is an extremely strong songwriter, and this is his 20 Golden Greats on K-Tel, and this was released in 1981, and this is a really good album. This would be better if it was over 2 LPs, and it would sound much better, but it just goes to show that they were able to release. Okay, by 1981 Gilbert O'Sullivan was not the most popular guy in Earth. He wasn't the most popular on the charts. Well, I think he did have a hit like What's in His Kiss or something. What's in a Kiss? So I think this actually came on the back of that What's in a Kiss, because that was from 1980, I believe. And so this, I thought, right, he's had a top 20 hit again, or a top 10 hit. Let's get a golden greats out. So that's one album. Another one from around 1984, and I'm very surprised that this got on the K-Tel. I thought this would have been on her Safari label, and this is Toya Toya Toya, the very best of Toya. It's a very strong album. It's all the singles, but K-Tel, why K-Tel? Toya hadn't sunk that low to be being put out by a K-Tel album. Okay, TV advertised, maybe that's to try and get the sales up again, because she had gone down a little bit in sales by this time. But this is excellent. This has got some mystery. I Want to Be Free, Brave New World, Be Proud, Be Loud, Be Heard, and what's my favourite one, and I Can Never Find Thunder in the Mountains. So this came from 84, but still 16 songs on this. But some of these songs are quite long. Like Brave New World is not a 2.5 minute song, so it's all squeezed together. Okay, another one, and that fell under the K-Tel spell, was Eddie Grant's All the Hits. Now this may have been a mid-price one, because it says $3.99, and whenever this came out it must have been quite later on. I'm not too sure actually when this is. This came out in, I cannot see it. But the thing is, with this K-Tel album, it's actually promoting all his other albums as well, which is weird. Why not just release it on his Ice label? TV promotion again, I'm sure. So this is another K-Tel album. It's a good album, but again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, there's 14 in this, so this is actually slightly better. There's only the 14 songs. Now, excuse the cover of this, but this, I couldn't believe that this guy got onto the K-Tel label. And this is, my cover's wrecked. This is the very best of Elton John. Come on, Elton John on K-Tel. Do me a favour, no way. But he was, and there's 16 songs on this, and the best of it is this is probably one of the best Elton John compilations you can get, because even things like Tiny Dancer's on this, but it's edited down. Tiny Dancer itself is about 6 minutes long. The edit here is about 3.5 minutes. Someone Saved My Life Tonight is about 6-7 minutes long, and it's about 3.5 minutes. But this is some fantastic songs, like, you know, Your Song, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Daniel, Song for Guy, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Border Song, even Harmony and High Flying Bird are on this. And it even includes one of his best LP tracks ever, Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters. So the actual track listing of this is absolutely wonderful. But it's on that K-Tel label. Well, thank God David Bowie never got on the K-Tel label. Oops. Yes, he did. Best of Bowie from 1980. And this has got 16 songs on it as well, and this doesn't sound great, to be honest with you. But the track listing is immense. You know, it has all the hit singles up to Boys Keep Swinging. Well, not all of them, because Rebel Rebel and Driving Saturday aren't on this. And it's also got Diamond Dogs has been edited, but it does have the edited version of Fame, which is the actual true single version, which is very, very difficult to get. It's only now released on the box set from a couple of years ago. But again, I think the cover works pretty cool. It's taken, this here picture's taken from the Fashion 7-inch single. But Bowie on K-Tel, no, please no. But yet again, I bought it at the time. But I remember whenever I actually bought this, I bought this, I think, as a backup, because I just got the Young Americans album and I'd put a bit of a scratch on the first track. Rather than buy the Young Americans album again, I thought, oh, Young Americans is on this, I'll buy this. sound quality is completely different. It really is. The sound quality of this is not too good. So going on to the mid-80s, we have the Telstar albums, and they did the similar thing with greatest various artists' hits of the day and all the rest of it, but they also did actual bands and artists' greatest hits, and one which I like is the Commodores. 16 songs on this. Doesn't sound brilliant, but you know, I would have preferred this over a double album and with maybe an extra couple of tracks added. But this has, you know, the Commodore classics like Three Times a Lady, Still Sail On, and even Night Shift. So it is bringing in a really good mixture of songs from the Commodore's pre and post. I think Night Shift's the only post Lionel Richie one. But again, mid-80s, and it too is advertising Commodore's albums. So that's the Commodores. Bad Manners. The height of Bad Manners. Why is this? I would have thought Magnet would have been the album, the label to release this on, and again this is 16 songs. I don't understand. Is it because, you can tell me because I don't know, is it because it's TV advertised? I'm assuming this is TV advertised, although I can never remember seeing it on TV. But again, I think Bad Manners, with the sales they had on their singles especially, it would have been better on a Magnet label rather than Telstar. This one is a fantastic album and it's got 20 songs on it, and this is the best of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. This actually is okay because it is 20 songs long, but these are 60 songs. The majority of them are, and so they're shorter and so they're less compressed in. But again, this is probably the best album due to the fact that it has some Frankie Valli solo material like My Eyes Adored You and Grease, plus the 70s Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons like Silver Star, Who Loves You and December 63, as well as obviously The Walk Like a Man and Sherry and so forth. So this is a great album here. I really enjoy this. I think I'm going to make a little statement at the end which probably rings true for a lot of these albums. Now, Telstar, Elvis Costello got it too. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 18 songs on this. It's a fantastic greatest hits, but come on, Elvis Costello, released in 1985. He hadn't gone downhill at all in any way. This was not to boost him up, he was at the peak of his powers. But it's a fantastic album. But again, why Telstar? TV advertised again. 2 more actually, sorry. And this is a weird one. This is Slade Crackers from 85. And this isn't actually, well, it is a compilation because there's some of the material from the early 80s on this, but there's actually material that's just recorded for this album. And there's 16 songs on it. And I would have far better, like that there cover itself, just, it just says cheap to me. It just, lack of quality, and it's just a cheap looking label, and it actually cheapens the band. I would have preferred this to be on RCA. You can have a fun Crackers party album, but to me, with those postcards, Naughty blowing up a balloon, it just doesn't look good. So, Slade Crackers. And lastly, Mark Bolan and T-Rex. And there's 20 songs off this, all crammed into one LP. And obviously it's brilliant because all the hits are on this, the Fly hits and the T-Rex Wax Company hits, so it's good. Now in 85, this was released in 91, the end of vinyl, so the actual vinyl itself is crap anyway because by this time the companies didn't want you to buy vinyl, they wanted you to buy CDs. So the Bolan also got the K-Tel treatment in '85, but they did it properly with him that time, and they made it into a double album. Why could this not have been a double album? I don't know. And I think the way, with regards to K-Tel and Telstar especially, these are all very, very strong albums with regards to track listings, but they're better off being bought on CD, and the quality would have been much better, because I do have this Mark Bolan one on CD. I bought it on CD when it came out, and it's only recently I picked this up very cheaply and thought I'll have it for the collection, and it doesn't sound very good. So there's some of my K-Tel and Telstar albums. Do I like K-Tel? Do I like Telstar? I do actually, yes, but I do feel as if any of my artists that I like are cheapened if they get on that label. I just don't like to see Bowie on K-Tel. I don't like to see Elton John on K-Tel. And again, I think it's just because I don't understand the ins and outs of it, but maybe just to get the TV advertising, they had to go onto that label. I do not know. So if anybody knows anything more about K-Tel or Telstar, please let me know at the bottom. And thank you very much for watching. All the best now. Bye bye.